In the cold expanse of the universe, where countless worlds fall prey to merciless conquerors, one race has earned its place as the most feared, the apex hunters. Known for their ruthless efficiency and unparalleled strength, they've claimed planet after planet as their own, leaving destruction in their wake. No enemy has ever stood in their way until now. When the apex hunters set their sights on Earth, they believed it would be an easy conquest. But what they didn't anticipate was the hidden power of this seemingly fragile world. Unbeknownst to them, Earth's true strength lies not in its technology, but in the unyielding will of its people. As the hunters launch their assault, humanity's last line of defense, a secret biological weapon, is unleashed, and the invincible apex hunters begin to falter. What was meant to be a simple invasion turns into a desperate battle for survival. As the hunters struggle, they are pushed into a corner, and in a stunning twist, the humans strike back with everything they've got. But the question remains, will this victory be enough to keep Earth safe, or is this just the beginning of a much larger conflict? What happens when the apex hunters face a force they never saw coming? Can humanity truly stand against such a formidable enemy? Tune in to discover how Earth fights back and what's next in this epic saga of survival and strength. The camera pulls away from the tranquil surface of a distant planet, slowly revealing the infinite blackness of space. Stars twinkle like diamonds scattered across a velvet sky. The silence is broken by the sharp hum of engines, cutting through the stillness. A fleet of sleek, menacing ships emerges from the darkness, their hulls reflecting the cold light of distant suns. These are the apex hunters, an ancient, elite species of warriors who have laid waste to countless worlds across the galaxy. Their ships glide effortlessly through space, their angular designs exuding power and precision. The hulls are adorned with glowing symbols, a language of death known only to those who have survived their wrath. The ship's shadows stretch across the stars as they approach their next target. For centuries, the apex hunters have traversed the cosmos, conquering, hunting, and destroying with ruthless efficiency. They are the ultimate predators, their name whispered in fear by every species that dares to cross their path. A force beyond reckoning, feared by all who live in the stars. There is no enemy they have not shattered. Until now. The camera focuses on the largest of the ships, a behemoth of war and technology, bristling with weapons and shields. It moves toward a new world Earth. The lights of the ship flicker as its captain, Zurich, steps forward. He is tall, his presence suffocating, his eyes gleaming with cold malice. His armored form is adorned with the trophies of past victories, bones, skins, and symbols of the races he has destroyed. In front of him, a holographic map of Earth flickers to life. The blue planet glows faintly in the darkness, innocent and unaware of the fate that awaits. Zurich studies it, a slight smile curling at the edge of his lips. Zurich. This is Earth, a primitive world, teeming with life, but weak. Their technology is crude. Their defenses are non-existent. This will be an easy conquest. A perfect addition to our collection. We will make this world our next trophy. Zurich's hand hovers over the map, fingers curling as if crushing the planet itself. His fleet, positioned like vultures ready to strike, waits for the signal to move in. The galaxy's deadliest hunters are ready to feast on their newest prey. As Zurich's cold laughter echoes in the command center, a sense of inevitability settles in the air. The universe has seen nothing like the apex hunters. Nothing, except for Earth. The camera cuts sharply to Earth, where inside a high-tech military command center, world leaders are gathered in an emergency meeting. Tension fills the room as massive screens flash with live updates of the approaching apex hunters fleet. The room is bathed in the cold, blue glow of technology, the whirring hum of monitors echoing through the air. Every face in the room is grim, eyes darting between the projections on the walls, depictions of an unstoppable force closing in on Earth. General Harris, human military leader. We've been monitoring these creatures for weeks. They are coming for us, and they don't seem to fear anything. But they've never faced Earth. We have our own secret weapon. His voice is filled with a mixture of urgency and determination, his eyes narrowing as he watches the fleet on the screen. The map of Earth is covered with flashing red dots, signaling the incoming ships, each dot representing an unstoppable force heading straight toward them. Dr. Emily Ross, scientist. I've been working on something, a project that could turn the tide. It's a biological weapon, specifically designed for one purpose, to take down the apex hunters. Her words hang in the air like a heavy weight. She stands by a console, fingers trembling slightly as she swipes through complex data on her screen. A green light blinks as a schematic of a mysterious substance appears, something alive, but deadly, almost symbiotic in nature. General Harris, looking intently at Dr. Ross. Whatever it is, we have to use it. Earth's survival depends on it. He steps forward, the weight of the moment bearing down on him. The entire world hangs on their ability to stop the apex hunters. The fate of humanity is now in their hands, and this weapon, whatever it is, may be their last hope. The room falls silent as everyone turns to Dr. Ross, the quiet ticking of the countdown to humanity's final stand echoing in their minds. The camera descends from the darkened sky, cutting through the thick, oppressive atmosphere to reveal the sprawling metropolis below. The once bustling city is eerily silent, its streets devoid of life. Towering skyscrapers cast long shadows, and abandoned vehicles line the roads, all signs of a world bracing for catastrophe. The air is thick with tension, and the quiet hum of distant sirens is the only sound, hinting at the chaos to come. The first of the apex hunter ships pierces the sky, casting an ominous shadow over the city. Their sleek, otherworldly designs gleam in the faint light, menacing and cold. The massive ships begin their descent, their engines roaring as they cut through the sky like death itself. The city trembles as the ships touch down with a resounding thud, sending tremors through the ground. The metallic groans of their landing gears reverberate, and for a moment, everything seems to freeze like the calm before the storm. Zurich, towering and imposing in his battle armor, steps down from his ship. His eyes, glowing with an icy malice, scan the empty streets. His expression is one of unshakable confidence, knowing the planet before him is no match for the might of the apex hunters. Zurich. This world will fall just like the others. Prepare for the hunt. His voice is deep and chilling, carrying across the barren streets. As he strides forward, his soldiers, vicious and armed with weapons that crackle with destructive energy, pour from the ships. Their feet pound against the concrete as they spread out, a swarm of relentless predators sweeping across the city. With each step, the apex hunters unleash their fury. They easily crush tanks with their bare hands, tearing through military vehicles like paper. Soldiers, armed with the best Earth has to offer, are no match for the superior strength and technology of their invaders. The hunters tear through the defenses with brutal precision, decimating entire battalions without a single moment of hesitation. But what Zurich and his hunters do not realize is that Earth's resistance has already begun its counterattack. Hidden beneath the city, deep in underground bunkers, the secret weapon, an unprecedented biological force, has been activated. The machinery hums to life, unnoticed by the apex hunters, as glowing spores begin to descend from the skies, drifting quietly like a strange, silent rain. The city's atmosphere, once thick with tension, now carries the promise of something far more dangerous, something Earth's hunters had never anticipated. The camera shifts back to the high-tech command center, its walls lined with banks of glowing screens and blinking consoles. The room hums with frantic energy, the atmosphere thick with tension. At the center, Dr. Emily Ross stands before a massive control panel, her eyes fixed on the screens. Her hands move with swift precision as she activates the final sequence, her breath shallow, as though holding back a storm of emotions. With a single, decisive press of a button, the machine hums to life. A strange, glowing liquid begins to course through the network of pipes that snake across the walls, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. The liquid is emitted into a massive containment chamber at the heart of the facility. It's like a virus, but much more sophisticated, alive in a way that defies understanding. The fluid reacts to the atmosphere, shifting colors like a liquid aurora. Dr. Emily Ross, via comms, voice tense but steady. It's working, it's targeting their biological systems. The camera pulls out to reveal a view of the city above, the apex of human defense. A massive cloud of energy materializes over the skyline. The cloud pulses and flickers, glowing a menacing green, as it grows and spreads with unnatural speed. It's no ordinary storm. As the cloud expands, small, glowing spores begin to fall like rain, each one a microbe in the grand design. They drift down silently, their eerie glow illuminating the darkened city like fireflies in the night. The spores scatter across the streets, through the air, and into the very atmosphere. Each one is a tiny harbinger of Earth's hidden wrath. Back on the surface, the apex hunters, still wreaking havoc in the city, suddenly pause. Their movements become sluggish, as though something invisible is weighing them down. Zurich looks up toward the sky, his sharp eyes narrowing in suspicion. Zurich, his voice strained, panic creeping into his tone. What is this? His hands tremble as he reaches for his helmet, trying to recalibrate his systems. The once indomitable strength of the apex hunters begins to falter. One by one, their limbs grow heavy, their movements slower. They clutch their heads as if battling an unseen force. Their glowing eyes, once filled with arrogance, flicker as their biological systems begin to degrade under the effects of the spores. Zurich stumbles, taking a knee as he tries to maintain control. He glares at the sky, realizing too late that the very planet they sought to conquer has turned its wrath upon them. The spores, tailored to target their physiology, are weakening them, shredding their invincibility in real time. Zurich, growling, panic setting in. This was not part of the plan. The once unbeaten hunters, now shaking, begin to falter. For the first time, they are the prey. The battlefield is no longer one of conquest, it is a fight for survival. The city streets, once filled with chaos and destruction, are now teeming with a new energy, an energy fueled by humanity's relentless resolve. The camera zooms across the battered landscape, where signs of destruction are still visible: crumbled buildings, smoldering wreckage, and overturned vehicles. Yet, amid the devastation, humanity is beginning to rise. General Harris stands at the head of a small but determined group of soldiers, his expression hard with resolve. The flickering lights of their communication systems cast sharp shadows on his face as he watches the apex hunters struggle against the effects of the biological weapon. The once mighty invaders are now slowed, their movements sluggish and uncoordinated, their strength waning with every passing second. General Harris, on comms, voice filled with urgency. This is our chance. Attack with everything we have. His command cuts through the tension like a blade, and the human forces spring into action. The sound of heavy boots echoes through the streets as soldiers emerge from hidden positions, their faces grim but determined. They are armed with advanced technology, weapons designed to counter the apex hunters' superior strength. Energy rifles hum with power, ready to fire. Drones, their sleek forms darting through the air, deploy bombs and flashbangs, disorienting the invaders. The human forces begin their assault, charging forward with unmatched fervor. The apex hunters, now weak and disoriented, try to retaliate, but their attacks are slower, less accurate. Tanks that once crumpled under the hunters' brute force now stand their ground, firing round after round, pushing the invaders back. Zurich, struggling to remain upright, watches the tide turn. His once unshakable confidence has shattered, replaced with disbelief as he surveys the human resistance growing stronger with each passing moment. The energy from Earth's wrath is real and it's overwhelming. Zurich, gritting his teeth, his voice filled with fear and disbelief. We were wrong to underestimate them. Earth's wrath is unlike anything we've faced. His voice trembles, something no one has ever heard from the leader of the apex hunters. He clenches his fists, his glowing eyes flickering with desperation. The realization has hit him like a hammer. The hunters, those who have conquered countless worlds, are now the ones being hunted. Human soldiers press forward with relentless determination, pushing the apex hunters into a corner. The invaders, who once moved with fluid precision and unassailable power, are now disorganized and vulnerable. The streets are no longer theirs to command, they are now the battlegrounds of Earth's fury. Zurich's mind races. He never expected this, a species so primitive, so fragile in comparison to his own, turning the tables with a force far more powerful than strength or technology. He feels a growing dread, a feeling unfamiliar to him, as the humans close in. The battle is shifting, and this time, the apex hunters may not survive. The camera cuts back to the heart of the chaos above the city, where the apex hunters' flagship looms ominously. Its massive form casts a dark shadow over the remaining human forces below, its weapons primed and ready. Zurich, breathing heavily, stands at the entrance of his ship, his body tense with frustration. His glowing eyes flicker in the dim light, reflecting the weight of failure. With swift movements, he boards his ship, his gaze never leaving the city below. His warriors, disoriented and beaten, are already retreating. The once unstoppable force that had descended on Earth is now crumbling, and Zurich knows it. The battle has been lost. Yet, he refuses to give in entirely. His ship's engines roar to life, preparing for the last act of defiance, a retreat to regroup and come back stronger. But as the ship begins to lift off, the ground beneath it trembles, and an overwhelming, high-pitched whine fills the air. A sudden flash of light illuminates the sky. The human forces have one last trick up their sleeve. From a hidden location, deep within the wreckage of the city, an EMP bomb is launched directly at the flagship. The device flies through the air, a dark streak against the fiery backdrop of the battle. Zurich, watching in horror, voice cracking with disbelief. This can't be happening. How did they? He slams his fist into the console in front of him, but it's too late. The EMP hits the flagship, and the ship's systems flicker wildly before they fail entirely. All power cuts out at once, plunging the massive vessel into darkness. The engines sputter, then fall silent. With no control over the ship, Zurich and his crew are powerless as the massive craft plummets toward the city below. The camera follows the ship's descent, showing it crashing into the heart of the ruined city with a deafening roar. The explosion shakes the ground, sending a shockwave through the streets, but the humans stand their ground, watching in silence as the apex hunters' pride and power are reduced to rubble. Zurich, in the chaos, barely able to speak. This was never meant to be. The wreckage of the flagship smolders in the ruins, the once mighty vessel now a twisted heap of metal and debris. The apex hunters, scattered and weakened, are either captured or forced to flee. Their invasion has been utterly thwarted. What was meant to be their conquest has turned into their undoing. As the camera pulls back, the devastation of the city is revealed: buildings leveled, Fires still burning, but amid the destruction, humanity remains. The survivors stand in the streets, battered but unbroken, their eyes filled with a newfound determination. They've survived the impossible. The hunters may have been the apex of the galaxy, but Earth has proven that even the mightiest can be defeated. The apex hunters came to conquer. They came expecting an easy victory. But they underestimated Earth and Earth's people. This planet is no longer just a speck in the universe. It is a force to be reckoned with. And the universe will never forget the day it faced Earth's wrath. The camera zooms out slowly, the damaged city a symbol of humanity's strength and resilience. In the distance, the final remnants of the apex hunter fleet disappear into the stars, leaving behind a silent world that now stands ready for whatever may come next. The scene transitions to the heart of Earth's political power, the United Nations building. The once solemn and serious atmosphere has transformed into one of triumphant celebration. World leaders, standing together for the first time in decades, are smiling, exchanging handshakes, and embracing in the wake of their hard-won victory. The room is filled with a hum of optimism, but beneath the joy, there is a palpable sense of pride. The battle against the apex hunters has been won, and humanity stands united as never before. The camera zooms in on General Harris and Dr. Emily Ross as they stand near a podium. General Harris, his uniform adorned with symbols of victory, speaks to the assembly, his voice steady and resolute. The once fearful leader now exudes a quiet confidence, embodying the strength of the human spirit. General Harris: today, we've shown that no species is invincible, not even the apex hunters. We've united to defend our home, to protect the future of every human being on this planet. We've proven that together, we can overcome anything. No matter how formidable the enemy, no matter how impossible the odds. His words resonate through the hall, and for a moment, there is a collective sense of purpose, a bond between all the nations of Earth. The victory is more than just a military triumph, it's a testament to human resilience and unity. Dr. Emily Ross, standing beside him, steps forward. Her expression is calm, but her eyes reflect the weight of what she has helped achieve. The weapon she created, the bioengineered force that turned the tide, has now become a symbol of Earth's ingenuity and determination. Dr. Emily Ross: the real strength of Earth isn't in our technology. It's in our will to survive, to fight, and to protect what's ours. It's in our unwavering resolve to never give up, no matter the cost. The apex hunters thought they could destroy us, but they underestimated the one thing that no weapon can defeat: the human spirit. Her words are met with applause, echoing off the walls of the Grand Chamber. Leaders from around the world, united in the shared pride of their victory, stand together in silent acknowledgement. The Earth, once vulnerable, has proven that it will not bow to the will of invaders. The camera pulls back slowly, capturing the full grandeur of the United Nations building, its iconic architecture standing tall against the backdrop of a brighter future. The flags of every nation ripple in the breeze, but for the first time, the flag of Earth feels more unified than ever. They came from the stars, believing Earth was nothing more than a stepping stone to greater conquests. But they could not have been more wrong. For Earth is not a planet of weakness, it is a world of strength, of resilience, and of unity. And now, the universe knows that Earth will never fall. The camera zooms out further, showing the globe from space no longer a fragile speck, but a planet standing strong, its people ready for whatever challenges lie ahead. The scene shifts to the cold void of space, where the last remaining apex hunter ship drifts away from Earth. The once mighty fleet, now shattered and broken, has retreated, leaving only one ship intact. The camera focuses on this vessel as it floats silently through the vast expanse, its dark silhouette casting a shadow across the stars. The ship's engines hum faintly as it begins to move further away from the planet that defeated them. Inside the ship, Zurich stands alone at the helm, his towering form a stark contrast against the dimly lit control room. His face, once filled with arrogance, now bears the mark of defeat. His glowing eyes, cold and intense, flicker as he gazes out of the ship's viewport, watching Earth grow smaller and smaller against the backdrop of the cosmos. Zurich's clenched fists rest at his sides, his mind racing with the memories of the battle, the moment when he realized that the Apex Hunters were no longer the Apex. His jaw tightens, and for a moment, there is a flicker of something in his eyes, something not quite anger, but a deep, begrudging respect. Zurich, to himself, voice low and filled with a mix of fury and admiration. This is not the end. The Apex Hunters will return. But next time, we'll be prepared. His words hang in the air, heavy with the promise of revenge. The ship's engines roar to life, and it begins to accelerate, leaving Earth and its victory behind. The camera follows the ship as it disappears into the depths of space, its lights fading into the void, swallowed by the infinite darkness. As the ship fades from view, the camera lingers on the stars, silent and endless. The vastness of space stretches on, but Earth, once again, stands as a symbol of resilience, a world that has survived the impossible. The Apex Hunters may have retreated for now, but their defeat is not the end of the story. In the far reaches of the universe, they will regroup, they will return. And when they do, they will find that Earth will not be so easily conquered. For this planet is no longer just a target, it is a fortress, and its defenders will never back down. The camera zooms out, showing the empty expanse of space as Zurich's ship disappears into the distance, leaving behind the echoes of a battle that will resonate across the stars. The camera slowly pans over Earth, the once battered planet now bathed in the warm, golden light of the rising sun. The devastation of the recent battle is still visible, with smoldering ruins and shattered buildings scattered across the landscape. The scars of war are clear, yet in the midst of this destruction, there is a quiet, powerful sense of renewal. The horizon stretches wide, the sun breaking through the clouds like a beacon of hope. As the light spreads, it touches the ruins, casting long shadows and bathing the survivors in its soft glow. Humanity, though scarred by the battle, is beginning to rebuild. People emerge from the debris, soldiers, civilians, engineers working together with a singular purpose. They gather resources, clear away wreckage, and begin the long, difficult process of reconstruction. The camera captures scenes of resilience, of family reuniting amidst the rubble, workers restoring power to a broken grid, children cautiously stepping out into a new world. Amidst the rebuilding, there is no fear. Instead, there is determination. A fire ignited in the hearts of all who survived the invasion. The Earth, once considered fragile, is now a symbol of strength and resolve. The Apex Hunters may have underestimated Earth, but they will never forget the wrath of its people. The battle for survival has only just begun. As the camera pulls back further, showing the vast expanse of the planet, the sound of humanity's collective effort fills the air. There is a promise in the air, a promise that no matter how great the challenge, Earth will rise again. It's not just a planet, it's a force of will, a testament to the unyielding spirit of its people. The camera slowly zooms out, showing Earth in its entirety, a blue and green orb shining brightly in the cosmos. Though the scars of the battle remain, Earth's resolve is stronger than ever. The sun continues to rise, its light spilling over a new beginning. The Apex Hunters thought they could conquer this world. They thought they could break humanity. But in the end, it was they who were broken. And Earth, united and unbroken, stands ready for whatever comes next. The screen fades to black, leaving the image of Earth standing resilient in the quiet beauty of space, ready for the future. The Apex Hunters, once the most feared conquerors in the galaxy, have now tasted defeat at the hands of Earth's indomitable spirit. What they thought would be an easy conquest has turned into a humbling lesson. No species, no matter how powerful, can underestimate the strength of humanity. Though Earth's cities lie in ruins, the survivors stand tall, united in their resolve to rebuild. But this victory is only the beginning. As the last remnants of the Apex Hunter fleet disappear into the depths of space, one question remains: will they return? And when they do, will Earth be ready to face them again, stronger and more prepared than ever before? The battle for survival is far from over. Earth has proven it can fight, but the true test will be in the battles yet to come. So, what's next for humanity? Will Earth's defenders continue to rise to the challenge, or will new threats emerge from the stars? If you've enjoyed this epic story of survival and resilience, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more. The fight for Earth's future has only just begun, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and let's continue this journey together.